Vor allem heute. Es geht um die Führungsverteidigung von Johnny Cecotto. Es geht um das Aufholen von Laurent Aiello und es geht um die allerletzte Chance von Opel. Und da ist nun ganz offensichtlich Uwe Alsen der Mann, um den sich alles dreht. Und wir haben ja schon im Sprint gesehen, dass es da einen sehr lockeren Wechsel gegeben hat, noch kurz vor Schluss. Schauen wir uns erstmal die Grafik der Rennstrecke an. 4,2 Kilometer ist der Salzburgring. 24 Runden sind zu unser erster Engpass, unser erstes Problemkind. Und das zweite ist diese Mutkurve hier, die mit gut 220 gefahren wird. Die Fahrer sagen, man muss hier die Pobacken zusammenkneifen und das Herz in beide Hände nehmen. Großes zweites Kriterium. Aufwärmrunde läuft. Und wie gesagt, Aiello muss gucken, dass er seinen Rückstand verkürzt auf den führenden Cecotto. Er hat hier alle Trümpfe in der Hand. Dem Peugeot passt der Salzburgring wie angegossen. Dem BMW überhaupt nicht im Übrigen. Und Opel mit Uwe Alsen als führendem Mann jetzt in der Tabelle, als Markenbesten, da ruhen die Hoffnungen der Rüsselsheimer. Er steht in der ersten Reihe mit Sprintsieger Aiello. Reihe 2, dann mit Manuel Reuter und dem prächtig aufgelegten Christian Abt. Gabriele Tarquini, der beste Honda. Dann Tom Christensen, dessen Teamkollege, neben Emanuele Pirro. Bartels schlecht gestartet im Sprint, aber noch unter den Top 10. Hier Johnny Cecotto, der Tabellenführer. Und gleich dahinter sein Kollege Jockel Winkelhock, der keine Titelchancen mehr hat. Prinz Poldi von Bayern mit seiner Abschiedsvorstellung auf dem Salzburgring. Das wird sein letztes Rennen hier sein. Nicht das letzte Saisonrennen, sondern sein letztes hier in Österreich. Und das Feld beschließt Roland Asch. Franz Engsler startet aus der Boxengasse und Erik Ellery gar nicht mehr. Der Kupplungsschaden ist nicht mehr zu beheben. Und wie gesagt, da waren es bei Opel nur noch zwei mit Titelhoffnungen. Allen voran Uwe Alsen, noch theoretische Chancen Manuel Reuter, aber eher theoretischer Natur. Nochmal exakt für Sie auch zum Mitrechnen, zum Mitverfolgen zu Hause, wenn Sie das wollen. Aiello hat einen Rückstand von 62 Punkten auf Cecotto. Er hatte mal 83, als er hierher kam, hat also 21 abbauen können. Und Cecotto logischerweise eben das Plus von 62 und Alsen hat 100 Punkte Rückstand auf den führenden Cecotto. So ist diese Rechnung. Auf den Sieg gibt es 60 Punkte, für den zweiten Platz 48 und für den dritten 40, für den vierten 34 und für den fünften 32. Das für Sie als Service, wenn Sie es mitrechnen wollen, von Runde zu Runde. Aufgestellt wird wie im Sprint ins Ziel gekommen. Links Aiello, der Sprintsieger. Rechts versetzt daneben Alsen. Die rechte Startbox hier am Bildschirm bleibt frei, weil der Trainingsschnellste in Fahrtrichtung rechts steht, also von hier aus gesehen links. Deshalb stellt man da niemand mehr hin und das sieht so aus, als ob der Startplatz nicht belegt wäre. Dem ist aber nicht so. Die Zeiten der freien Startplatzwahl, die sind auch vorbei. Hier wird aufgestellt, wie es der Reglementkatalog vorsieht und der sagt Fahrtrichtung rechts, auf Ihrem Bildschirm links. So, da stehen sie nun, Cecotto in der 6. Reihe als 12. und sein großer Gegenspieler Aiello ganz vorn. Aiello Vorjahressieger, hat alles gewonnen im vergangenen Jahr, das Training, den Sprint, das Rennen. Nach großem Kampf mit Jockel Winkelhock. Hinten jetzt das OK-Zeichen mit der grünen.
Eurosport at Salzburg for round 8 of the German Super Touring Car Championship. The race about to get underway. Laurent Aiello on pole. Let's see what sort of a start he'll make this time. He's got Opels behind him. And a great getaway from Manuel Reuter to challenge the Frenchman on the run down to the first chicane. Again, Tom Christensen's clutch lets him down and he is swamped by the field. Show of the nose from Joe Winkelhock, but it is Manuel Reuter who leads this race. Aiello second, Alsen goes in third, and it's Audi and Honda side by side. Who won that one? Well, what a surprise, it was the Audi. Through goes Abt, through goes Pirro, and down into 6th position goes Gabriele Tarquini. Now then, this is bad news indeed for Laurent Aiello. If the Opels gang up and they get ahead of him, he could be in real trouble here. And already Leopold von Bayern out of it. Well, drivers were expecting a big hoo-ha at that first chicane on the start. Everybody got safely through at the sprint. Looks as though von Bayern may be our only casualty here in the race. Reuter Opel, Aiello Peugeot, and then it's Alsen ahead of this three-way battle, the two Audis. Abt, Pirro and then it's Tarquini ahead of the second and third Peugeots, and that's vital now for Laurent Aiello that the Peugeots get in there, and they're going past Tarquini, both of them. Well, Aiello leads, and now this is a very, very important moment as well, because Aiello has grabbed the lead, and very, very late indeed from Manuel Reuter, it would seem, from that big slide he had coming out there in that third gear corner. So Aiello from Reuter and Asch, and then behind him the two Audis and his two teammates, Bartels and Van Ommen, both ahead of the BMWs. Now it really doesn't matter too much where the BMWs work their way up to if they've got another couple of cars ahead of them, and resolutely so. Every point that the Peugeot drivers can take away from Johnny Cecotto will be very much appreciated by Laurent Aiello. It doesn't matter where the Peugeots finish, they can be second or third and ninth or 10th, it doesn't matter as long as Cecotto's behind them and those positions aren't available to him. So although the drivers will want to work their way as far up the order as they can, and maybe just breathe it now, try and make a Peugeot 1, 2, 3, it's where that man is, the man in the BMW with the red spoiler and the red mirrors, that is oh so important. Michael Krum just ahead of him in the Nissan, and we've already seen in the sprint that Krum has the legs of the BMWs and can pass them. So Cecotto will be looking here at a very tough race to try and even make up one place. Battle there as Tarquini's Honda goes backwards again. Tarquini's Honda, don't forget, damaged in that practice shunt. It was the back right corner, and although the car was rebuilt for the warm-up of the race, Gabrielli saying it's not feeling entirely as it ought. Well, the Audis have swapped position. Emanuele Pirro is now in fourth place ahead of Christian Abt. And then he has got the first of the Peugeots, and that's Bartels with the yellow name on the windscreen. Van Ommen with the white name is behind him. And Alexander Bergstaller, well, we've seen this picture before, haven't we? Stefano Modena has made some good starts today then, both times to get back ahead of Alexander Bergstaller, who out-qualified him by 3 points on the grid, and who finished 4 places ahead of him in the race. Well, all that's well and good, and that is the battle further down. There is Modena, Bergstaller, Bieler, and Asch, Roland Asch, who was, of course, in the pits at the start of the main race. Christian Menzel being passed here by Tom Christensen as we chop once again on board with Bergstaller. Bergstaller not able to come up to an apex yet. Now he's made the passing manoeuvre. Now down the gearbox they go again, into third, turning in nice and tight to the grass to deny anybody else a chance to come by the inside of him. Christian Menzel up ahead, so Menzel's had a good start as well. Aiello then from Reuter and Altsen, they're the top three. And then Pirro, Abt, and 2 Peugeots. So Bartels doing very well indeed to be into 6th place. Just having a little look to keep Christian Abt honest there. Johnny Cecotto and Joe Winkelhock now both past Tom Christensen. So Christensen is continuing to struggle. I wouldn't be surprised if his clutch is starting to give up the ghost a little. So Tarquini and Krum just ahead of this little train, and this is Tom Christensen's car moving alongside Joe Winkelhock, and goodness, he really makes that look very easy indeed, doesn't he? And straight past Cecotto as well, the two of them just on the straight. Well, Cecotto fights back, but that really is an indication of just how quick the JAS Sport Honda Accord really is. Those clutches gear changes being hammered in there by Christensen. He does it pretty much all the time anyway. It's a bit of a legacy of braking with your left foot and accelerating with your right. There isn't much of a third foot left for using the clutch. Leopold von Bayern out of the race in the pits there. He made it back at least, but Poldi no longer part of this one. Aiello then, Reuter and Altsen. second and third. The Audis fourth and fifth. Is this really the start of a glimmer of a resurgence from Audi? They seem to have had all sorts of misfortune here. Frank Bieler's car was rolled into, well, an utterly unrecognisable or unrepairable state 2 races ago at Wunsdorf, and they had to build a brand new machine for him. Now he's languishing a little bit further down the order, but his 2 teammates looking very good at the moment in fourth and fifth, ahead of Michael Bartels, Jörg van Ommen, Gabriele Tarquini, Michal Krum, and then this man, Johnny Cecotto, who we now do pass with Tom Christensen. So Cecotto now has his teammate Winkelhock behind him again. Cecotto 11th, Winkelhock 12th. And behind them, it's Berg, Stallers, Opel. As Christensen takes his time to complete the move. Oh, and Christian Abt's gone off. Oh dear. Oh dear, oh dear. Well, he comes back on in front of Gabriele Tarquini, and there will be a little bit of very Latin gesticulation. A couple of Italian words may just have escaped the former British Touring Car Champion's lips there as Abt came hurtling back on right in front of car. Oh, goodness me. Well, Christian Abt was looking pretty quick in the opening stages, and he has had contact. The right front of his car there, it's damaged. Well, it was his teammate Emanuele Pirro who was ahead of him. Now, it may be that he outbraked himself. He's damaged the right-hand side, both right-hand corners of the car, and neither of them, it must be said, there on Gabriele Tarquini yet. But the Audi, he did that damage on the barriers. You wouldn't want to think that he'd done that barrier, that damage, misjudging it behind his teammate, would you? That really would be very bad news. But Pirro is in the picture. He's just got out of shot, still ahead of the 2 Peugeots. Tarquini ahead of Abt, and then Krum. So now Bartels and Van Ommen are up into 5th and 6th positions. And Michel Krum getting really the tail end of this one, because he can't get past Tarquini with Abt in the way. Abt seems to have the wipers on and is slightly too preoccupied to worry about finding the switch, and Abt's into the pit lane. Oh, well, there goes a very convincing race start, at least for Christian Abt. Emanuele Pirro in 4th place now in the Peugeot, in the Audi on his own, as the Peugeot comes into shot and gives me complete brain fade. Aiello leading still from Reuter and Altsen. Pirro 4th. Bartels 5th, is it? Yes, still the yellow name on the windscreen, giving that away as Michel Bartels. The white name on the Peugeot windscreen is Jörg van Ommen, the reddy-orange one, the one that you can never really read because of so much camera flare. That's Laurent Aiello. There he is, still leading. Reuter, the yellow name on his car, ahead of Uwe Altsen. Pirro 4th, but under pressure. Well, Bartels is really angling for a podium position here, isn't he? And no question about it. Bartels looking for something here from Pirro. They get to the paddock corner, and it's not happening for him, but there is Abt. Well, yes, there is where he picked up the damage. All right, it's only 3rd gear, but that's quick enough, isn't it, rattling off the barriers like that? And I would think probably some rear-end suspension. Surely that wasn't a touch. I don't know if that was a touch, but they were very, very close indeed, and that looks as though it may have been a lapping misunderstanding. Altsen now into 2nd. We didn't see that during the replay. Altsen has moved up into 2nd ahead of Manuel Reuter. Well, now, with 10 of the 24 laps still to go, is Manuel Reuter in tyre trouble again? He picked up a fierce vibration and a very odd feeling in his car at the end of the sprint, and that was 12 laps long. 2 laps from the end of that, he had to pull over and let Uwe Altsen go by him. Well, he's had to do it again, and he's only lasted 14 of the 24 laps of the sprint, of the main race rather. So Manuel Reuter could be starting now a slightly rearward slide down the order, and I'm sure that that will have given Michael Bartels there in the Peugeot a little bit of heart, because if Reuter is in problems, then Pirot and Bartels may well snap up past him, and that will put Bartels into 4th place, just one step away from a podium finish in only his 2nd ever race in a Super Touring machine for the Peugeot team. Well, that would be a great way for him to continue his association with this squad. And he will look very, very closely at any passing possibilities here. Off into the pits goes Uwe Altzen. Well, Manuel Reuter now right in the grip of the Audi and the Peugeot behind him, and Uwe Altzen has gone into the pits, trailing huge amounts of smoke. It's a puncture. Left front puncture for Uwe Altzen. Well, if Manuel Reuter was in tyre trouble, then so too was Uwe Altzen, and we didn't know it. He may have clattered over a little bit of debris, perhaps from Christian App's Audi that was dropped on the car. But Altzen in the pits, and that's his race over. More action in a moment. Back at Salzburg for round 8 of the German Super Touring Car Championship, and the battle continues to confuse and perplex. Laurent Aiello leading this one, but we've seen Manuel Reuter there in the Opel leading this little gaggle run into tyre problems. He let his teammate Uwe Altzen go through, but that tyre smoke just in the corner of the screen there was Altzen going into the pits with a puncture. Altzen back out now. Well, maybe he'll get fastest lap of the race. Maybe he won't, but he certainly won't be in a podium position. He was 2nd, Reuter was 3rd. Reuter's now 2nd, but he's got Emanuele Pirot in the Audi, and Michael Bartels right with him. Where is Reuter? Reuter's disappeared. Pirot is 2nd, Bartels in 3rd place. Well, while we were watching, yes, there is confirmation. While we were watching Altzen, Reuter's picked up a puncture as well. Well, this is great, great news for Peugeot. Peugeot could go a 1-2-3 here. Emanuele Pirot, the only man standing in between Peugeot and a 1-2-3 for the first time in their Super Touring history. Manuel Reuter into the pits then. We really don't want to be seeing this. We know what's happened to him. He's out of the race effectively. Laurent Aiello is leading this. In 2nd place is Audi's Emanuele Pirot. In 3rd place is Michael Bartels for Peugeot. In 4th place is Jörg van Ommen for Peugeot. At least that's how it was when they crossed the line. And Joe Winkelhock's off. He's gone off at the chicane. Is he all right? He looks a little bit dazed there. Perhaps he was just checking down to have a look at the car. Winkelhock's out of it though. There is Cecotto. He's still in the race. Bergstaller's pulling off. Bergstaller pulling off as well. Well, maybe he's got a tyre problem. It looks as though the Opels have run their tyres ragged here. There is Reuter back in the race, but he's no challenge, I'm afraid, to Cecotto. Well, what a race of changing fortunes it's turning into for everybody but Laurent Aiello. Now, if Bartels can work his way past Pirot, he will be in 2nd place. Reuter goes past Cecotto. Cecotto doesn't care because he's only unlapping himself from Johnny Cecotto. He's not even taking a race position away from him. Well, Manuel Reuter and the rest of the Opel crew in dire trouble. Eric Ellery didn't even start this one. Laurent Aiello comes across the line. Who's he got behind him? Well, it's a lapped Opel. So in 2nd place is Biela there in the... Biela, I beg your pardon, is Pirot in the Audi. Emanuele Pirot. 3rd place is Michael Bartels. Now, are my eyes deceiving me? Is that Tarquini who's moved up to 4th ahead of Jörg van Ommen? It is. Now, that must be a genuine race position because Tarquini was behind him and quite close. Maybe Van Ommen is running into tyre problems as well. Maybe Tarquini's got the best choice. He dropped away in terms of pace away from the start, and now he's starting to find it all again. Honda, clearly they're going for a harder tyre, and it's survived the race strong, and it's coming in well now. Michael Krum there. There's Tom Christensen still running without that clutch, don't forget. And there is Frank Biela in the midst of a group of Opel Vectras, some of whom have been into the pits, some of whom haven't. Bergstaller there and Biela. That's a genuine battle for position. Or is it? Now, Bergstaller's been in as well, hasn't he? Oh, I really am starting to lose track of it now. Manuel Reuter, though, certainly isn't, I don't think, battling Frank Biela for position. Biela battling for his place there as Laurent Aiello goes on to the final lap ahead of Biela's teammate Emanuele Pirro. And the Italian in second position. This will be a godsend to the Audi team to bring a race result like that home if he can. Third place there is Michael Bartels. Fourth place Gabriele Tarquini. From fifth place Jörg van Ommen. And in sixth place it's the Nissan, that's Michael Krum. So Krum having a strong race. Tarquini gets the headlamps on because there's back markers ahead. Well, I'm afraid it can't have been Bergstaller we saw pulling over earlier on. Must have been one of the other Opels, because he is still staying just ahead here of Frank Biela, and Biela is struggling to try and get past him. You can see though that he's not being passed or dropped by the Opels on either side of him. So this battle, 8th and 9th, Bergstaller 8th, Biela 9th. Reuter not in it, I'm afraid. Reuter is down in 15th place, a lap down, but he's still having a look around Biela, isn't he? That's all immaterial though to this man, because Laurent Aiello is already coming out of the final sequence of corners. He'll turn left onto the start-finish line and he'll see the man with the checkered flag now. It's ready for him. Fourth gear, fifth gear, he takes the flag, he wins the sprint, he wins the main race and takes pole, as he did here last year. Victory for him, second for Pirro, third for Bartels, fourth Tarquini, fifth Van Ommen, sixth place Michael Krum, and Tommy Christensen coming out in seventh place, despite having no clutch since the beginning of the first race. Great drive from Christensen. Eighth place, Alexander Bergstaller at the line from Frank Biela, ninth, and Johnny Cecotto gets into the top 10. He is in 10th position, so Cecotto gets 22 valuable championship points. There's Joe Winkelhock, and he's pounced a fag. Yes, Joe Winkelhock has pounced a fag off the marshals. That's probably not his first, it's probably his third or fourth. He's been there some while. Well, Michael Bartels pulls up alongside Laurent Aiello in congratulations, and the Peugeot team are delighted, and well they should be. Bartels punching the air with delight there, not just for himself but also for Laurent Aiello. Well, all the Peugeot team, what a good race they've had, and well, just for a moment it looked as though that might have been the finishing result. 3 yellow cars across the line. Well, you'd hardly hope to think about it, would you? But Aiello wins, and a very important victory for the Frenchman.
Great day, great race.
Yeah, really difficult race, because at the end I knew that some guys had problems with the tires. So we have to reduce a lot the speed, and I had to control the others in the back and also to keep my concentration. So, but the car was fantastic. Really thank to the team, because we made a great job.
And 90 points toward the championship, getting back into it, that's also good.
For sure. But now I think we know a little bit better the car. I think we found something this weekend. I hope it will work also in Oschersleben.
Well, a good race for him, but a fantastic finish for Gabriele Tarquini.
That's a nice way to start with a new team, isn't it?
Well, I mean, it was a very nice race. In the end, I was really scared because I had some strange reactions in the rear, and I thought I can't finish a race. So I kept it slowly and finished third. So I'm very happy. I think it was possible to finish second, but Pirro was very strong. And congratulate to Pirro, for sure to Laurent. And now we get very exciting last 2 races.
Yep, Tarquini just holding off at Jörg van Ommen at the end there, and of course Michael Bartels third place. Could have been second though, maybe.
After the birth of my 2 sons and my wedding, this is the happiest day of my life. It's so important for us, the result, for the future, you know. Really thanks to all the mechanics, to all the effort we did. I told many times we were working very hard, but we didn't see any light, and now we saw a result which is hopefully the beginning of the comeback. Thank you all.
Well, what a delighted man Pirro is, and let's hope for Audi and for the series that that's not a false dawn. Wouldn't it be good to see another manufacturer in with a chance of winning?
The race was not so bad, and the car was absolutely perfect. Special thanks on my team. It's fantastic. I do a very good job. But you need a little bit luck. You saw it in the last race, and now flat spot, not the flat spot, the tire puncher Front, left. What can I say? Unbelievable.
Well, it looks as though Opel may perhaps have themselves to blame. They may just have gone a little bit too close to the limit with the tyres, but Peugeot played safe and took maximum points. And for Johnny Cecotto, his 83-point lead cut to just 24, but that's certainly a little bit better than perhaps the BMW team might have expected. And thankfully it was Winkelhock's car that was damaged and out of the race rather than Cecotto's. It keeps the championship alive and interesting. Well, the next round, September the 11th, at the tight, twisty Oschersleben track, might be a BMW race, but then again, Aiello and Peugeot think they found something. 2 rounds of the German Super Touring Car Championship left to go. Watch them both on Eurosport. Join me, Martin Haven, for that. Until then, thank you for watching. Bye-bye.